folks, I hope all of you can settle down and take a seat, and we'll jump straight into this very insightful discussion that we have when we're bringing in some wonderful industry leaders. So let me please introduce them to each and every one of you. We're absolutely delighted to have with us Ankit Kapoor, Head of Marketing and International Business at Parle Agro. We also have with us Mahesh Shetty, the Head at Network Sales at Viacom 18. Also joining us, Navin Khemka, CEO of South Asia at Essence Mediacom. And guiding us through this entire conversation, let's welcome onto our stage our dynamic moderator for today. Put your hands together for Shibani Gharat, anchor and associate executive producer.
Thank you so much. So in this era, how can digital and TV walk hand in hand, walk together? That's what we are discussing. So let's just begin and start this conversation today with you, Mahesh, coming from Viacom 18. Tell us about this change in consumer behavior. How is it impacting your business and your strategies?
We see it all around us. Finally, as content creators, or as an organization which gives solutions to advertisers, we all chase the consumer. And we've seen consumer behavior evolve over the last, a big shift over the last 5 to 8 years. There is access, there is affordability as far as mobile phones and data is concerned, and that has impacted consumer behavior. And frankly, that has a big role to play when we look at creating content. And But however, if you look at it in terms of overall screen time has gone up across board. If you look at across India, different geographies, different strata of consumers, it has gone up. But having said that, the consumer need of wholesome family entertainment continues to be there. And television to a great extent provides that. While they are watching, television at home, they also engage with the mobile phone. So while we are developing content, we have to keep that in mind. And something that we do very actively is go across the country, meet consumers. Very often what happens is that our vision of the world is driven by the kind of people we meet. But India is a very large country, and research is something that we invest a lot in. And the stories that we bring out in our fiction shows, it is a reflection of the new aspiring India in terms of the fiction shows, the core plot lines that we create. In addition to that, when we look at another big part of our content is the reality shows that we have. And one of the biggest show that we have is Bigg Boss. And something that, we did a pivot about 3 to 4 years back. And which was, we realized that both these worlds are merging, which is the digital and the television worlds are merging, which consumers are consuming content across screens. From a core content standpoint, one of the key things we changed was that Bigg Boss used to have contestants who were primarily television celebrities. I'm not sure whether you noticed, over the last 3 odd years, it is a mix of digital influencers and strong television celebrities. And because of that, because of the digital influencers, a lot of their following has come onto the show. At the same time, the television celebrities have become very popular in the digital universe. So to give you an example, somebody like MC Stan, who entered the Bigg Boss house, very popular in the digital space because of his rap, hip-hop music, he entered the Bigg Boss house with 1 million followers. But when he exited the house, he had 10 million followers. And I think because we made this strong pivot, Bigg Boss continues to be such a big show. It's the #1 show across television. It is the #1 reality show across all digital platforms. It is the biggest conversation driver across social. And I think understanding the consumer and changing our content mix basis that, and looking at consumers not as just one vision saying this is just a television consumer, but consumers who consume content across screens. I think that has been the key strategy, I would say.
Navin, you are a link between a brand, and the platform. Tell us some of the questions that you are getting when it comes to the multimedia strategy of, brands and marketers today, given that this 2024 has been a very interesting year. It came on the back of a very strong 23 with a lot of events through the year, an extended festive season, an extended cricketing season. Also, there were a fair bit of challenges when it comes to, FMCG players taking a big hit in the past year as well. So tell us, how are you guiding some of their multimedia strategies?
So, for us, whenever we get a brief from Ankit or from brief from any of my clients, I think it's always, I would say, consumer first. So we look at the consumer, and if you look at the way the consumer has evolved and the way he is consuming media, the time spent on media, as Mahesh rightfully pointed out, has gone up significantly. Today, earlier he was spending about 2 hours on media platforms put together. Now it's gone up to about 4 to 5 hours. Within 4 to 5 hours, if you see television, then there is social media, then there is OTT, then there is other digital platforms. So yes, so today to design an effective strategy, you have to first look at the consumer, look at where he or she is. I would say what I typically in my mind call the 3 C's or maybe the 4 C's. Look at the category in which you are operating, and how relevant the category is for each of the platforms that the consumer is. Then you look at, I would say, competition. What is the competition doing today? How active is the competition? So are you competitive from a share of voice point of view? Are you competitive from a strategy point of view? And last but not the least, I would say, from a content point of view, again becoming very important today. What content do you want to give out to the consumer? Is it brand building? Is it a promo? Is it snackable content? So depending on all these variable factors that I'm saying right now, I think our strategies, therefore well defined, and we go back to our clients with a holistic approach.
Yeah. Ankit, over to you. Mahesh spoke about how creating mass content is very, very challenging. It comes with its difficulties and challenges. But what about creating mass brand love? Is it and how is it possible in the digital age? Because traditionally, television was a medium that was used to do that.
This dilemma is not a new one, right? For all marketers, we've been evaluating whether to go TV versus print versus outdoor in the good old days, and now the journey's just moved forward, right? You've got many more platforms. So the first question is the marketing team or is the brand manager really clear on what is the role that he wants each medium to play for that specific brand? The clarity of that, I think, enables better briefs and therefore better results for someone like Navin, right? So if the brand team is not clear on how we need to use each medium, I don't think we'll ever get the right results. So that's one.
Can you share some examples on how did you have a clarity of medium?
So we simplify it actually that depending on the stage and objective behind each brand, there'll be a role defined for every medium. For example, all right, if we're a 5, 10, 20 rupee organization, right, beverages, and you want to go deep into India, TV continues to do that. But there is a very clear role for specific audience segments where you will have platforms like social, Facebook and YouTubes of the world come in. So how do you leverage them? And are you clear what segment and niche you're going after? So that's one. 2, are you aware about your organization's capability to manage this complexity of leveraging all these platforms? 3, do you have the creative width to consistently bring to life the brand's core message across platforms? I think there's a mirror that most marketers should be holding before they jump in to say, hey, I want to go and experiment everything. 4th, do you have the resource? Is your team ready? And that's, I think, where, Navin, a lot of the agency functions come in.
Absolutely.
That are the agency and the platforms prepping the marketers and the CMOs to say, hey, there's a bunch of information. We want to simplify this world for you. These are the KPIs that you can chase. These are some of the strong case studies that are relevant for you, right? So I think getting this whole structure into place is where the wheel kind of starts turning. And all of it happens under the umbrella of, does the CMO have a vision to try and push the boundary?
and conversation, but Mahesh, over to you. My next question is that while we are seeing traditional advertisers spending more on digital, over the past 5-6 years, we have seen a lot of digital first platforms having lot of advertising spends on TV as well. So if you can share with us some of the successful strategies of digital first platforms using TV beautifully.
See, I think one of the core benefits that television delivers is trust. And I think any brand which is looking at going mass, I think cannot ignore television. So be it an e-commerce company or a D2C kind of a company, and they could look at going mass in a particular state, or it could be across the country. Let me give you an example. Say about 4 or 5 years back, Mama Earth was about a 110 crore company, and primarily started off as a D2C company, online first. And around 4 odd years back, if I remember right, they started their journey towards being a omni-channel kind of a company, distribution across the country. And that's when they started their television journey also. They started investing month on month on television. Today, Mamaearth is a 1700 crore turnover company. A 4 or 5 year journey from 110 crore to a 1700 crore is a huge jump. And that has happened on the back of them definitely, putting huge amount of efforts on distribution, which is offline, but also at the same time, when you want, when the consumer is going to the store and has to pick up one versus the other, the consumer has to have trust on that brand, okay? And the trust element comes when you actually put your brand out on television screens across the country. I think that is one example.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with Mahesh actually, and India has gone through a huge phase in terms of the role of mass media for digital brands and brand building. If you look at almost a decade back, right, it was possibly the only way you could do it. Because digital was still scaling up, and therefore TV was giving you the huge reach, and a lot of brands, if you look at the big e-commerce brands, if you look at, I remember OLX in those days when we launched, I remember so many other commerce brands that we launched, all built on the back of mass media, traditional advertising. They needed that. And then what happened was digital also started getting scale in terms of effectiveness, in terms of the people viewing the media, in terms of people spending time on the media. So what happened? Then you saw a next era where a lot of D2C brands, as he rightfully said, started mushrooming in this country. And I call it the power of 10. 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. Getting the first 10 crores on D2C today, very easy. Getting to 100 crores, you can still do it with only digital. Great campaigns, great search strategies, great content networks, influencer strategy. I can do it. From 100 to 1,000, when I get the brief that we want to pivot to 1,000 crores, then I say you have a problem. Because then you start seeing the diminishing returns of digital, and that's you have to expand your reach. You have to reach out to more audiences. You have to go on to omni-channel. And then when you want to become 10,000 crores,
yeah, just to make things slightly interesting, I don't entirely agree with the two of them. A classic issue of client not agreeing. So let's talk about banking, right? It's the one industry that is completely based on trust, and most of the advertising is going digital centric. So it's not that television as a medium is building trust. It really comes down to more basic measurement tools of or matrices of, hey, I need to drive reach, and maybe television is getting me that. The trust is built through what the brand does, the content or the love marks that we're creating, what we stand for, the purpose we're trying to really drive. So I don't think it's the channel or the medium that's doing it, right?
But isn't banking also, because you gave banking example, isn't it also because they are getting the consumers from their branches to online over the past 2-3 years? Isn't that also the reason for that?
Exactly. Therefore, trust is not married to a particular channel or platform, right? It's what the brand or the organization is doing. and the kind of services they're providing versus saying, hey, television builds trust is a bit of an
Yeah,
overarching
yeah, you can't look at it
assumption.
in a very linear way that, this, agar aapne TV mein add kiya to trust ho gaya, but yeah, it's also what you deliver, also how your communication is. Okay, if you're, and you've got to be consistent with your communication and also have to deliver when the consumer reaches out to you. Yeah, I mean, when everything matches, yeah. The thing on television is because it's also family viewing. So there is that element of content curation that happens, and anything that comes home versus your individual, your consumption, individual consumption, there is a difference. I mean, edgy content is something that you don't put it on, family television. And anything that comes home, there is an element of trust. So that's the thing that television delivers, really.
How do you see the future trends and opportunities with TV and the rest of the media collaboration? Navin, let's just begin with you.
I think the panel, obviously, one thing they all agree on right now is it is not either or. It is absolutely omni-channel, it is holistic, I would say it is the consumer first, wherever my consumer is, and I need to obviously reach out the consumer, affect the change. So I would stay very consumer first, and I would be true to the consumer, true to the brand objectives, and design great media strategies or communication strategies accordingly. That's what I would do.
Mahesh?
Absolutely agree, and I think thinking, just television or digital or, doesn't make sense at all because the consumer is multi-screen, so you follow the consumer, be it on content or be it as far as advertising communication goes. And since I've been branded the ultimate salesman, let me also do a plug.
No, but tell me, how do you, work towards enhancing both the viewer experience and the advertiser experience going forward?
No, so, see, like I said, we are here
so something that we have seen around IPL, for example, where you could play along as the IPL, tournament was on. So something like
so
that, or, even beyond.
Yeah. No, so, again, starting from the content standpoint, like I said, consumer comes first and we'll create content that makes sense for the consumer. Linear platforms have a limitation because, you can see only one content at one point of time. So digital allows us the freedom to create a lot of shoulder content and around that key content. So for example, IPL also has a lot of shoulder content when you're watching it on a digital platform on Jio Cinema. And yes, there is a lot of gaming or engagement that you can do. And I think that is something which will be a norm now. And it is a norm. I mean, when we create our own content, which is either a reality show or like a Big Boss or a Khatron Mein Khiladi, engagement is something which is of it is basic, I would say. And that is something, while on linear television, the consumer gets to just watch the content, the engagement happens on Jio Cinema. And even when our teams, when they go and approach clients, they give a complete holistic plan, which is television, digital, which is OTT, social, all put together. And I think that is the reality of today. It is, I don't think we can go and meet advertisers or marketeers and say, hey, this is just for television. I think more and more we'll have to go and give them a holistic plan, which helps them reach out to the consumer at different touch points.
Ankit, how do you see this evolving landscape shaping your strategies going forward?
So there's two ways in which I think it'll help marketers in particular keep the strategy consistent, but be very fluid in the execution of it, because the landscape which is existing today will probably not exist 6 months from now. So you've got to continuously be in a very fluid mindset to keep a pulse on it. And I would suggest don't chase tech, but chase the creative behind the tech, so you know how to use the tech creatively. If we can crack these two, I think more or less you'll know how to crack the omni-channel code.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for a wonderful discussion.